Hi everyone, my name is Zuko, and this is Mix Universe, a musical sandbox game that I've been working on for the last 4 years. And today I'll be going over the latest update for it. Before I jump into anything, I just kind of want to give an overview, just in case you haven't seen this before. The basic premise of the game is you can create these nodes. Everything can be created from scratch, all here in the create menu. Just click and drag, boom, it's in the level. And then all this stuff you can edit on the fly. So every node in here makes a sound. So if I right click on this, you can see it has a sound to it. And then they also can change their sounds like that. So very basics of it is that if each one of these are connected with their own individual timings, you can kind of get composition out of this. So it would be an example of how that plays. Now that you kind of know what to sort of expect, I'll start from the beginning here, and then I'll go over all the new update stuff and finish it off with some cool mixes at the end. Okay, one of the first things that I added was the origin layer. This layer helps to ensure there's a start and an end to a mix. You don't have to implement it, but now you can actually look at these layer switcher nodes. You can see which layer they are based on how many square rings they have on them. And you can see this is layer 1. If I tap that one and then I go and I hit play, it'll start and you'll see layer 1 and 4 are now active by default. For ending the mix, there's new end nodes. And so if I T this all the way to the end and then I hit play, you can see it'll show the details on the screen, and this will get more robust over time. Now with mixes having a start and end, the potential in the future is to actually have them string from one next mix to another. You put them in a playlist, that sort of thing. Patterns got quite a bit of an update as well. You can see they have a node that you can attach to now. So by default, you want to go to attach to it. You won't be able to attach to any of the square sections anymore, and you can attach directly to the node. Then by default, they will also cycle endlessly. They have the option to go to non-looping as well and chain, and I'll show that in a bit. And they also have the option now to randomize. So you can turn on in mode 2 these randomization buttons. And what this will do is when it hits the one that has it active, it'll choose randomly any other one in your pattern. So in this case, I have them both active, so it'll play endlessly, choosing randomly itself or any other ones that are available. This is non-looping mode. Non-looping mode adds an endpoint to the pattern. And the endpoint, once the pattern finishes, will continue to pulse as if it's sending the pulse through from here to the endpoint to here. So it's a little confusing to say like that, but just kind of watch the behavior. It'll go through, finish, pulse over to here, go through, and finish. The height values can be adjusted by selecting and hitting Q and E. This is how all of these nodes have been altered, and you can go pretty far up into space. The space theme visuals got a complete overhaul as well. The lighting is now coming from a sun. The sun itself will go around in circles over time. The lighting has shadows from the directional light. It's using nanite for these rocks, and then also just a general update to the main fog as well. So the fog layer has depth to it, and there's even like these little tiny sparklies. If you get up close, you can go in you get the sparklies. See all the sparklies? Woo! Headbob also got a complete overhaul on the character model, so you can see super high res, and then also just has textures and stuff. This was quite tricky. This took a little bit of time, almost all of November, as I was working on a talk for Game SoundCon, which if you want to see the talk, I'll post the link in the future there. It'll be available very shortly. There is now a multi-edit mode you can activate by double-clicking on things. So if you double-click on elements, you can select samples really quickly this way. You can remove and then double-click the empty slots to delete. You can double-click notes to change the note values, double-click octaves, change the octaves, double-click the durations, change the durations. Go to modulation, double-click the volume over here. That'll work like that. You can double-click in different slots like this as well. And you can also say double-click a couple times, and it'll be fun, because that's what I'm doing right now is double-click, double-click, double-click. If you get one of these crazy situations with all these UIs, you can go down here and click this to get the simple UI, which will just show a nice little overlay. You can cycle through this normally, and it'll eventually show up at the very first edit mode for each node. Mixes will now show the artist information in the lower left, so you can see here. Roll That Beautiful Bean footage by Eka. And what's great about this is it also tracks history. So if I were to save this as my own, because this is somebody else's mix off the workshop, this is mine now. Okay, simmer down. If I go and I upload this to the workshop and then reopen it, you'll see now the original mix artist featuring whoever made additions to it. So here I have a pretty complex mix utilizing a bunch of randomized patterns. So each one of these has shuffle on, and then also these as well in some of them. And what it's going to do is randomize between these layers. So every time these activate, they change layers. And before I actually get going and playing this, I just want to say a quick shout out to all the people who have play tested so far. And if you've gotten this far in the video and you really want to try this thing out and give feedback, you can right now on Steam. There is a request button that will automatically give you access right away. This button will only be public for the next 2 weeks. So you have 2 weeks from the release of this video to get into the early play test. And then from there, I'm headed towards an early access launch sometime in the very first quarter of 2023. So it's randomizing between the layers, which is just really fun because it'll do this for quite a bit. This one's another one that shows the randomization tech, and it's kind of like Halloween themed. And then there's some really cool stuff that players have made as well. This one's by Catalyst B-Boy. It's a remake of C418, Wethands. So I think I want to emphasize too that Mix Universe really isn't aimed at composers or people who are musically trained. It's a plus if you are, and if you have fun in here, that's great. But if you are interested in music at all, this is a great platform for you to kind of just jump in and have fun without any constraints or even like staring at spreadsheets. So this is made by the Dotster. Nothing super crazy, but it's cool. And then there's this thing, which is absolutely madness. It's probably one of the most compositional mixes that has been made so far. And to end things, this is a mix that I use for the main menu now. You can check this one out along with a couple other ones in the included section for the mixes. And here is what it sounds like using the randomization as well. All these are randomized. Thanks again, everybody, for playtesting, for giving feedback. Thanks for watching, and hope you have a good rest of your day.